How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I thought it was about time I give you an update what's been happening with the Supra. As you may notice, I'm sat here in a still very empty engine bay. 7M. Last time I drove it, oil pump gear exploded and essentially took out all the valves and everything in the head. Well, finally bit the bullet and I bought a billet oil pump gear, which should have been the last Achilles heel of the 7M for me. But unfortunately, upon sending everything down for machining, discovered that the head was soft. It's alright, I had 2 more spares, and both of those are soft as well. So I put it out there to see if anyone had a spare head. Been out a couple of months waiting. Had a few offers, some very kind offers from some very nice people, only one of which was in New Zealand, and that was, I would say probably of questionable hardness as well, and getting a test done on that before it got sent down wasn't going to happen, so we were pretty much rolling the dice, and the others were coming from overseas. There is still good 7M heads out there, I just don't have any, and I can't find any locally. When I had to sit down and think about it, that last head that was on that car was the best head that I'd had previously. Rockwell tested around about 100-ish, sort of the lowest points. Now, like New's like 120-ish. So it was the best head that I'd had, not the best head in the world, but the best head that I'd personally ever had. Most of them have been knocking around the sort of 90s. Anyway, in the space of 2 years, I'd managed to get that from being a fantastic, good condition head to being poked. So between 5 and 6, I was getting readings of about 40 or 50. So if that oil pump gear had not exploded, that head gasket was about to go anyway. The head was soft as everything. I thought it was just ruined. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. So I thought to myself, if I can't find a head now, say I do get one, I do bring one from overseas, and I do find it's okay, and I do machine it, and I do get it back in the car, am I just going to cook it again in 2 years' time? The answer was maybe. It's possible. And do I want to do this every 2 years? I just don't. Simply put, I don't. It's only going to get harder to find parts. So, as much as I didn't want to, I pulled the pin. So there'll be no more 7M for me. Well, in the Supra anyway. For now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I've got a lot invested in it, and I won't get a lot for it. So it is going to sit in the corner, and I'll try and decide if I'm ever going to get a street car or anything and put it in that. I just don't think it's going to handle the abuse of motorsport. I don't know. So I bought a new engine. I thought quite hard about this as well, to be honest. Is a reset for the vehicle. Realistically, boiled down to 2 choices. Either going to be LS or JZ. So the LS was going to be obviously a big change in the way the car drove, being the power delivery of the V8 and the torque, in a good way, potentially. Being in Cody's V8 turbo BMW, the thing goes pretty damn good for only like 5 pounds of boost, so they are a good thing, and I can understand why people use them for drifting and, well, just everything, to be honest. When that thing can like light the tyres in $3 grand to $2.5 grand without bogging down, it sort of makes sense. Then the other thing was, I did like my car, so maybe I just stick with what you know. Basically the same thing, but more modern and slightly more available parts. A lot more available parts, which would be the JZ. Still a 3 litre 6, so weight, balance, handling, everything's going to be about the same. Power delivery is going to be similar. Most likely it's going to hopefully be more responsive. So as you can probably guess, that's the route I took. I finally gone and got myself a JZ. So as with everything, a big part of the decision making was cost. JZs aren't exactly cheap things these days, but some of you may recognise, may have guessed where I've fished one out of. A clip of a previous video. JZ be gone. So yeah, there was that GE kicking about out of the Mark IV Supra. Then drivetrain wise, well, I got my Samsonus to suit the R154 belt housing, so very simple to bolt my Samsonus up to the JZ, because I just got a standard Toyota JZ belt housing and boom, everything's exactly the same. Clutch wise, I don't know, some of you may remember I said that I bought a new clutch to rebuild the one that was in my 7M because actually it was starting to slip. So I had an Oskiken triple plate in my 7M and I bought an Oskiken triple plate for a JZ to nick the plates out of it. Well, turns out I'll just use that whole clutch. So I already had a triple plate clutch flywheel, bolts up to my Samsonus, and well, kind of already had the 2JZ GE in the shed, so it just kind of made sense to go down that route. I've been collecting parts and things for a while. Obviously you guys are quite late in your update. I've been sort of ticking away at this. So I also decided, I figured I had a kind of a cool 7M and I didn't want just a basic plus T2J, so I've also got a VVTi head for it. So that was a non-VVTi 2J out of the Mark IV Supra. So it's got the stronger rods and stuff in it. So going to run that block stock for now. 2JZ GE VVTi head. That's off getting machined at the moment and getting some cams made up by Canelli Cams. 276s, I believe, something like that. I'm not sure on the lift. We'll see. Basically, he did a set for my mate's car and it gained like 70 something kilowatts going from stock cams to those cams, and he runs the same turbo as me as well, so I was like 70 kilowatt gain off cams, I'll be down for that. So I was like, just give me, I'll have what he's having. I was like, just make me a set of those. So yeah, that is the plan. Everything's sort of underway. I'll sort of fish myself out of the engine bay in a second, and I'll go over some of the parts I've been collecting. So as I say, I've already made a sort of a start. So this was the GE non-VVTi out of the Mark IV Supra, and this is pretty much, maybe like the alternator in there. It's about the only thing I'll be using for that entire box. It's my Samsonus here. So the JZ Oskiken triple plate, R154 bell housing to suit JZ, and it will bolt straight up as exactly the same as it did on my 7M. So that's all taken care of. So this block, I've just cleaned it up, give it a quick lick of paint, clean the deck surface. That's all just wrapped up to keep it nice and clean at the moment. Made some engine mounts. RIP 7M 1987 2023. My little commemorative engine mounts. So yeah, this is what I've been doing. Got a pile of parts over here. So I bought a GTE oil pump and the VVTi timing gear and crank sensors and cam sensors, so I can run, being with the VVTi head, it actually has a cam sensor in it, whereas the non-VVTi doesn't. So I don't have to muck around with the Dizzy or CPS or whatever trigger kit. I've just run a cam sensor, and then running this GTE stuff allows me to run a crank sensor, so that's my ECU happy. I'm still probably just going to run the same coils. Got a billet tensioner. All the woes I've had with cam belts coming off due to blown up oil pump gears, I've heard JZs do it too, and that's the culprit. Maybe not be as common, but hell, I'm not doing this shit again. So I bought one of those. New timing gear, front and rear main seals, cam seals. What's this? Oh yeah. AC delete bracket, so that doesn't flex about all over the place. Water pump's new already. I'll still be running the same turbo, HX52, 11 centimeter rear housing. Exhaust manifold wise, I'm pretty busy at work, which is good because it helps pay for projects. So I was like, I just balance my time between building this and my building Mark IV Super and stuff, I really want to just drive this car as soon as I can. So I've ordered a Synco manifold since they already have a jig for a Mark III Supra. They've had to mod it a bit because obviously it's to suit a 1J in the Mark III, and this is a rather large turbo on a 2JZ GE in a Mark III. So anyway, hopefully it works. So I've ordered that, got a notification last week that I've been starting on it, so maybe end of next week I'll get it. Then hopefully next week as well I'll have the head too, which would be nice, and the cams, and I can start sort of bolting it together. Did opt to go with just a factory GTE gasket, so yeah, still running the NA pistons, factory GTE gasket, and a GE VVTi head, so it'll have slightly higher compression. I can just run ethanol, it's fine. Just run low boost on pump gas and run some ethanol. So intake manifold as well, it's in the ute, I'll go grab it. So I got this from Garage Whiffbits in the UK. So I was originally going to run one of those Greedy knockoffs. I got an adapter plate to mount the Greedy knockoff to the GE lowers. And then I saw the prices of fuel rails and everything. I was like, oh, you know what, might as well get this because my E-throttle already bolts to it because it's actually got the correct flange for the E-throttle and just one piece bolts to the head. So yeah, nice looking unit. Pretty damn positive. It's just one of the generic Chinese ones that they've just rebranded. But you get that. But won't stay polished for long. Probably end up going green. So yeah, that is most of the parts all that I've got for now. I do have some more bits on the way. So they'll arrive, well, to be honest, in the next month everything will be here, I'd say. So I'm pretty much just going to start changing over the oil pump and just so many little things as well, like the oil relocation bracket for my 7M didn't fit the 2J, so I had to buy a new one of those. And yeah, there'll be a lot of mucking around like that. Wiring wise should be pretty good as well. Should only have to change 2 plugs and that'll work, because all the sensors and everything I ran on the 7M were aftermarket and I'll just be switching those over. So yeah, basically change 2 plugs, maybe 3, and that's it. The car's wide. So yeah, once all the bits arrive it should be a pretty easy process. So I did make it a little bit harder on myself wanting to go the VVTi head and things, but I just thought, well, I might as well go a little bit extra while I can, because I won't want to redo it later, I guess. But yeah, for now that'll be it. I'll start actually doing some assembly work on things on the 2J in the next video, but for now, thank you very much for watching. If you still love me after ditching the 7M, thanks. Appreciate it. Maybe hang around to see me build a 2J, maybe not. We'll see how many of you drop off now that I got a 2J instead of a 7M. See if you guys actually liked me or just my motor. Alright, thanks for watching guys, see you later.